Welcome back to the Gemini channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to the channel, I'm going to do a general message for Gemini. Know that energy is fluid, roles can be reversed. Interpret the message as it best resonates with you. You also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I do look at everything, but we take a lot more time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and see how they play those karmic themes. That way you understand why your person's doing what they're doing, why you're attracting who you're attracting into your life, and what you can do to shape shift the energy, especially if there's many different realities that play out at one time. Why would you want to stay stuck in a reality that makes you feel less than? Any energy that makes you feel not good enough, not having enough, right, is less than, right? And no one wants to stay in that energy, especially if there's many different realities. You want to stay in a reality that makes you feel abundant, loved, right? High energy. So again, the reason why that these readings are healing is because you get to see how you contribute to the imbalances within your situation. And when you change, you automatically change the whole dynamic of your situation. Now, anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you can find in the description box. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate those of you that do. All right, we're going to jump in. We're going to see the word of the video. The word of the video is Promethean Fire. I feel like you are well, you too. Like you're connected to a soulmate twin flame. However, it's soulmate twin flame relationships are not all that they're cracked up to be. People are like, oh, there's so much passion. There's passion, but there's a fine love line between love and hate. So, Promethean fire is all those emotions. There's happiness, there's sad, there's anger, there's just all the emotions. Because when you're dealing with a soulmate twin flame, they are your mirror. They are going to awaken every single wound that you have in order for you to look at your spiritual blocks for you to heal them. If you don't look at them, then you're not going to heal them. If you don't see your situation from a different perception, you can never heal. Staying spiritually blocked just means staying stuck in a perception, in a reality that keeps you out of alignment with your true energy. And then your true energy is the energy of unconditional love, which is the energy of the universe. It's the energy of God. There is no separation. However, we go through experiences that make us blocked. And then we form habits and behaviorisms that are in alignment with those psychological and emotional blocks. So, Promethean Fire tells us that, again, there's so much emotion, love, hate, anger, just so it's not easy energy to contain, especially when you're connected to someone that's, you know, is not on the same vibration. A lot of times twin flames come into your life, they are not on the same vibration. There's always a runner chaser dynamic. So let's see. Again, betrayal. So this person, I feel like, had the potential to step it up to the twin flame level, but they're a past life karmic mate. They didn't do that. And I feel like you disconnected and because this person betrayed you. And it's actually this person that's having all these emotions. So the person that's connected to you, I feel like they thought, well, you are always going to be there. And I feel like they're going through a different situation right now where they're not happy about their situation and kind of like you were their backup plan. And I don't want to say it like that, but it's almost like they thought that you were always going to be there. So whatever happened in this person's life, why they're not happy in their life, and again, what comes around goes around, but betrayal. This person betrayed you, and we want to see how did they betray you? How did you perceive that they betrayed you? memory. I feel like this person just, that's your twin flame, just kept doing the same thing. Like you asked for more time, they didn't give you more time. You asked them to show up for you in certain places, they didn't do it. Whatever it was that you asked them to do, or whatever you expected of them, they wouldn't do it. They completely just, and so Promethean fire, like I said, is more or less you both have this energy towards each other. But I feel like you expected this person to be your soulmate twin flame. And the fact that they didn't show up for you and they kept disappointing you is why that there's not just passionate energy here. There's a lot of you're like pissed off, where you're like, I don't really even want to be with you anymore. You ruined our connection. Where this person is like actually annoyed that you're holding them to a standard, and you're like, no, because whatever I asked you to do for me, you never did. Like you acted like it was such a problem. I feel like this person was a little immature. They wanted you to chase them. They wanted you to run after them and baby them and mommy them, and you weren't doing that. You know, you expected this person to treat you in a specific way and they didn't do it. And you're like, you suffered enough of mental and emotional abuse. So you feel like this person psychologically and emotionally was abusive to you. And you feel that way because, like I said, you're like, whatever I asked you to do, you wouldn't do it. You would do the exact opposite. And that's, you didn't give me the time. You didn't put in the effort. It's the same thing over and over again. You know, like you're trying to like get underneath my skin. You're lying. And then when I say something to you, instead of changing it, then you judge me. Like you felt like you had to have an argument with this person in order to get them to move. And that's what I'm saying. They wanted you to chase after them. They wanted you to like kind of I was gonna say, kind of like be up their rear end, kind of like chase after them, reassure them, do the entire relationship while this person acted immature, would do the exact opposite of what you would ask, watch you get irritated, watch you get emotional, watch you, why that this is what I said, a there's always a runner chaser, and I feel as if you were perceived as the chaser after, and now you're like the runner, and that's what pisses this person off because they're like they didn't want to be in the energy of the runner. So it's like you're like, well, I'm not gonna have an argument with you just to have a conversation. If you don't want to talk, I'm not gonna talk to you. If I ask you to do something and you don't do it, well, then I'm just going to go ask somebody else to do it. So, like, this person thought that they were going to manipulate you by giving you less, by not giving you time, by not giving you energy, by just acting like no matter what you asked was a problem. So, what happened is you detach from this person and now you're getting it from other people, and that's why this person's annoyed because not you're not waiting for this person to give you the time, and that's really what it comes down to. It's like this person almost like you didn't wanted to be in a relationship but didn't really want to give you time, didn't want to give you energy, almost like they knew who you were. They loved the fact that there was this connection, but they weren't ready for it. Again, they were just too controlling, and they saw you as controlling because you would say you had held to certain standards. You were like, you can't just come into my life, come in and come out whenever you want. You know, you weren't saying, hey, you need to date me exclusively, maybe, but you said you need to treat me in a certain way. And the thing is that this person didn't really want to treat you with the respect that you deserved. Yeah, because they were like, this is a divine union. And you were like, if it's a divine union, then you should be treating me with the upright and upmost energy, and you're not doing it. It's like you're acting like it's a big deal to do it. And so again, what it was is that, this person would never really build a strong foundation. There were never really strong roots. And so without that, there was no growth. And that's what you saw. It was almost like this person wanted you to stay connected to them, chase after them, let them come and go and do whatever they want. This is a divine union, but they wouldn't let the relationship grow. And that means emotionally, mentally, every other way, because this person stayed in an energy that was immature. So now that there's all this emotion, because that's what Promethean fire is, this person's angry. They're angry. They have all these feelings. They have love, they have passion, but they have anger because, again, you're triggering their wounds. You're showing them who they are. You're not in their life because they thought that they were going to play games and that you were going to run after them, reassure them, do all the work in the connection, and that they were going to walk around with some big ego. And you didn't do that. You're like, you're not giving me the energy. I'm not going to feed this. I'm not going to give this to you. It's like I literally pulled from two decks and we got lost. Like this person's lost. It's like part of the reason why they don't want to be in a relationship is because they don't really know what they want to do. You know, they feel empty. So part of the emptiness is that, well, if they get attention from other people and they get you to chase after them, that makes them feel good about themselves. But this person just, like I said, they're lost in who they are. They don't know who they are. They have like no purpose. And you just feel like you've been abandoned by this person. But there is, really a deeper connection that was actually supposed to happen, is what you always felt, but never did. This person stayed in their dark side where they entertained many different people. It's like they just kept playing games. And that's again goes back to they wanted everything their way. They didn't want to give it the time. They didn't want the energy. They were like, "Well, this is a soulmate twin flame connection, so I can treat you however I want, and you're just always going to stay connected." And you said no. Now, again, this person feels lost without you, and understand they do feel very inspired by you. They have great respect for you, and you know and I say that because it says, I wish you knew how grateful that they are that they've met you. And the reason why is because it's made them think and it's made them do some healing where they say childhood wounding was influencing their actions. They didn't get what they needed. And that you're the first person that's made me feel this way. And it kind of pushed them into the spiritual awakening because you walked away and took off the rose-colored glasses, their toxicity didn't overrun the telepathic bond. That's really what it is. This person always thought that you would think that the telepathic bond was meant that you were the divine counterpart, which they should have been. You should have been. But, you know, this person hides things from you. They say things that they don't really mean that they say out of temper. They're not on the same vibration as you. They say things out of anger. They say things to control. They lie. They manipulate. They wish they can fix things, but they have unhealthy attachments. And like I said, this like something that this person's hiding from you. So they may drink too much. They may be talking to a lot of other people. Whatever it is, they're battling inner demons. But they're filled with regret for treating you the way that they did. I don't think that this person expected to have such strong feelings for you. But they knew that you were a soulmate. They knew, but meaning like I always felt a connection to you. They never realized that when first of all, they never thought you detach. And then when you detach, they never thought that it would affect them like this. This affects them a lot. However, they're not on your level. They need to do a lot of healing due to their inner child wounds. At least this connection pushed them into awakening where they realize that they have to do that, where they're seeing how they treated you. Where before, when when you were still connected to them, they weren't going to heal anything. They wanted you to chase them. They wanted to do what they wanted to do when they wanted to do it. Understand that. And now that you're not connected, again, that's what it is. It's like this person listens to other people. It's like they're not really strong enough with themselves. Like I said, I feel like they have unhealthy attachments. So they could be like many people, there could be one person, they could just be codependent where they listen to an ex, a parent, just they're not strong within themselves. So it's almost like this person doesn't know how to come back. They wouldn't know how to treat you. You're holding your ground. It's like they don't really, they're at a loss. They're struggling with codependency and they're afraid to let go of their old coping mechanisms. That it's all over this reading. Whether that's a person, whether that's drugs, they're hiding something from you. So they will never let you get that close. But they think, well, like you are my divine union, you are my divine counterpart, you are my person. But I'm not ready to let it grow and I'm not really ready for this type of energy. They didn't know what to do with this energy. So, and really, if they're still struggling with codependency, it means that they feel a lacking. They either do drugs, gamble, do something where it would definitely affect your life, but it also means that they're just not strong within themselves to make a decision about what they should do for themselves, especially when it comes to you. It's like they have feelings for you, but again, the feelings are so big and they are not emotionally intelligent and they just don't know what to do with those feelings. So you have to say, why did you attract this person into your life? You're a mirror of whom what comes into your life. And so we'll pick 6 inner child wound cards. What you'll see is that the theme of the inner child wound continues to play out until we heal it. So let's see what they are. Oh, there's trauma, there's resilience, there's loner, and there's misunderstood. What was underneath that? Source was underneath that one card. And then neglect. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So sometimes, sometimes when we're just a sensitive being, we overthink, we can feel other people's energy. And, because we can feel so much, we interpret things wrongly when we're a child. So that's number one. And it's because we're misunderstood. So I feel like, you know, there was a sense that due to your sensitivity, and I say that because it's not like you didn't go through trauma. You did go through trauma. You went through a lot of trauma because it says it here and it says it here. These 2 cards. Now, there is resilience where you kept going because you learned to be a loner in doing that. And so you always had a good connection to source. However, people were difficult to you because you were taught at a very young age not to trust your environment. So again, you're very reserved. You're someone that may wear your heart on your sleeve. You may treat people the way you want to be treated. And because you didn't get what you needed, you tend to be very nice, and people tend to then think, well, why are you being nice? What do you want from me? Or people perceive you as not as smart as you are, or they perceive you as not confident or overly confident. Put it where it applies, but they always perceive you wrong. So you're continuously misunderstood, which makes you feel bad. So it was just easier for you to be a loner as a kid because first and foremost, that trauma that you went through, psychological, is when you're neglected and emotionally. So I feel like you attracted this person into your life that just was not on your vibration, psychologically or emotionally, mentally. They are somebody that's a child. They wanted you to chase them. They wanted you to they're like, oh, this is you're my soulmate, but then you should run after me and chase me. And they love the idea that you had feelings for them. But it was, again, they didn't know what to do with it. They needed that constant reinforcement. Otherwise, they're going to talk to other people, try to make you jealous, try to, and like I said, they had you, but they did not know what to do with this energy. So we have to say again, what are we going to do with the energy? Because when we go through these experiences, they create like negative energy, and you just can't get rid of negative energy. You have to do something with it. You have to create with it. It's like that's what alchemy is. Alchemy is taking negative energy, which is that fire, right? When we're angry, where there's rage, there's fire, and we are integrating it. And first and foremost, we're integrating it into seeing it from a different perception. And then we're channeling it, we're grounding it and channeling it into a purpose. We're creating where it's really creative energy. That's what fire energy is. It gives us the opportunity to create. You can't just get rid of it. You have to do something with the energy. Otherwise, you haven't fully learned. You only learn when you embody the new consciousness. So we always have to look and see at this part to say, okay, so what are we doing with the energy? You see, card number one is again, Spirit says, first and foremost, live authentically and boldly, unafraid to be yourself, living out loud, especially if you were neglected. You might have been taught to, play it down, especially if you were misunderstood. You would not have confidence to live that way. So remember, you have to reparent yourself. And Spirit says, be true to yourself. That's number one. Otherwise it doesn't really work. Understand, navigate difficulties with calm and acceptance. Be at peace with yourself so you can go with the flow of life. So that's what you really learned how to do because this person definitely was not really like they were creating a lot of turbulence in your life, which could, again, keep you stuck on them, which is kind of what they wanted. Because remember, they wanted you to reassure them, like by fighting for them and chasing them, you know, and you didn't do that. The spirit says, no, now it's time to take bold action, take big steps that push you out of your comfort zone because you can't heal yourself in the same environment that made you sick. So it's again, whatever it is that you're doing, whether that's for work, whether that's a hobby, that's an interest, or it's just for recreational. Again, take a deep leap of faith in any direction. It's again, invest in yourself. If this person came to you and they neglected you, Spirit saying on some level, are you neglecting something within yourself? And it would be the passion part because everyone has to work to make money. So again, maybe you say, I don't have any relationships. When you join things, you connect to other people. Relationships happen over time. You have to integrate all facets of yourself. And that's what this connection helped you do. Why? To help you become strong so that you could go into the unknown where real change and real growth is occurring. And when that happens, you get new opportunities, infinite possibilities happen for you when you do that because you're seeing yourself differently. You integrated the spiritual lesson, you're open to new opportunities. So, Spirit's saying you had to go through this connection to be able to heal from the neglect that you grew up with, pretty much. And that's by reparenting yourself and not neglecting yourself, and by learning that you're not misunderstood by everyone. When you invest in yourself, that means you're investing in your hobbies and your interests, you're meeting like-minded people. And again, that's going to heal that heart chakra. And we end off with one more card, and that is inner work. God brings you the ideal situations for inner healing. And as you become aware of your weaknesses, you turn them into strength. You direct your thoughts towards the light, and you see the positive side of all stages of your life. Darkness turns into courage, and you get stronger. So again, that's why Spirit says without integrating the spiritual lesson, but again, you would have never integrated. You needed to integrate all facets of yourself, and this is exactly why, to do your shadow work. So you can again attract exactly what you want to in your life. Or if someone like this comes to you, you're not going to entertain it because you're not going to be on the same vibration. You're not going to resonate with it anymore. There was a part of you that resonated to it because you needed to integrate that spiritual block. And this was the perfect experience to help you do that. I'm going to leave that there. You let me know how you resonated with this one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.